First up, a thanks to the little-known Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this episode. Nice one. And GG to the person on the screen, you've won a free game this week. Your comment tickled the fancy of many people, so they clicked that button, indicating that, yes, you are the winner. Leave your own comments, click other people's buttons, and we'll give away more games. What is on sale this week? Well, my excitement is palpable. Let's find out. Let's start then with the American side. You guys have won the JRPG prize this week with Tales of Vesperia and Ni no Kuni, which always go on sale, but they've once again dropped to an even lower price. They're now 80% off, taking them down to $9.99 each. Vesperia from Bandai Namco is a 40 to 100 hour JRPG classic, featuring two friends on an epic journey, and with some nice little Switch-specific upgrades such as HD graphics, brand new music tracks, new minigames, and new costume DLCs. Yay. Now Ni no Kuni, on the other hand, takes a slightly different approach to JRPGs. It's a little more of a collector-style RPG, but with work from the delightful Studio Ghibli, or Studio Ghibli, as I've discovered is the correct pronunciation, which I find very upsetting. This one starts out quite slowly, and it soon ramps up, and it is another very long adventure. Both of these games have physicals. GameStop at the moment has a 50% discount on this, with Tales of Vesperia being cheapest at Walmart at 41% off. While the UK doesn't have a sale on the digital copy, you can save a little bit at Shop 2 on the physical of Tales of Vesperia, and you can save a lot on the physical at Shop 2 of Ni no Kuni, taking it down by 60%. Excellent games. There's a reason they're always on sale, and it's a reason that most of us already own these. Thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this episode. Glen did the last couple and I thought I can get in on that action. You might not have heard of it. Raid Shadow Legends is a console quality RPG on your mobile phone with turn-based battles. A couple of my favourite characters are Tatura, who looks like you crossed a statue of a lion with some kind of ice dragon, but he does massive defensive buffs to your team, which is a nice touch. And another one is the Royal Guard, because he's brilliant against enemies and is perfect for those boss fights, with a powerful ability that scales damage based on the enemy's HP. With these two you can do some serious damage whilst maintaining your defense. This month is Raid's 3rd year anniversary, and here are Raid's first ever champion skins that let you alter a champion's appearance to something that suits your style and preference. Plus they look pretty sweet. Here's my favourite. If you'd like to support the channel and also try out the game, click my link in the description or scan the QR code which is on the screen. You'll get a free starter pack worth $40. It includes 3 free champions, Misericord, Tiger Soul and Romero, plus 10 magic XP brews, 10 force XP and 10 spirit brews. And all of that's waiting for you here. This is all available only for the next 30 days and only to new players, so download it today. Do stick around to the end because we always have a couple of avoid games. But next up we've got, again in the US region, you guys are winning this week for sure, the cheapest price we've ever seen on God Eater Free. That's down 85% to $8.99, which is a ridiculous price for this Monster Hunter style game with slightly larger groups of you fighting against these huge beasts. Your God Arc weapon can switch between different forms. There's a great deal of customization in terms of your own character, and there's a ton of content that can be played with others or you can play on your own. And when it drops to this price, it's a good time to pick it up. And do let others know down in the comment as well, like, what have you thought of it? Have you enjoyed it? Because I think some people kind of need that secondary affirmation when they're trying to make their pickups, which is fair enough. My little backlog edition this week has been Mr. Driller DrillLand. That's 80% off, the lowest it's ever been, and it cost me the very expensive price of £3.19. I asked Glen if it was worth picking up, and he said, yeah, it was originally, I think it was originally on the Game Boy and then didn't come across, or it wasn't on the Game Boy. I think it was on the Game Boy, that's what he said. And he said it's a decent little game. Now they've updated the graphics and obviously the cutscenes as well, and there's a competitive multiplayer mode here that annoyingly I keep losing to my wife. But as you can see, they're reasonably simple to pick up and play, but they're quite tricky to master as well. It's all about chasing those high scores, and it clocked in at a reasonable 800 megabytes. You could complete it, in air quotes, in a couple of hours, but there's way more gameplay here, and there's also online play for up to 4 of you. Very good. Enjoy this one a lot. That sale ends on April the 16th. Next up we've got Sonic Mania. Now the US has the best sale on this one, although You can pick up Sonic Mania Plus at a reduced price of £24.99 here in the UK. In the US though, you're looking at a 50% reduction, taking it down to $9.99, and it's only a 390 megabyte download. Now there isn't much we don't already know about this one really. It's classic style Sonic, and it was brought to us by Christian Whitehead, with Sega essentially trusting this guy to make Sonic 4, which is what this is to all intents and purposes. It runs at a beautiful slick 60 FPS, it has the classic style visuals, it has a co-op mode, and there are a few new mechanics in here as well. Really nice and well worth it if you're a Sonic fan, and you're looking at about 6 to 15 hours if you want to do absolutely everything. There is a physical of this as well that can usually be had slightly cheaper on Amazon if you're interested. Although I'm pretty excited about the next Sonic game, Sonic of the Wild, I do hope we do see more of these old school versions with a few modern tweaks. Then we've got the really rather good Hot Wheels Unleashed. Annoyingly, we didn't get to review this on the channel, but we did get sent a code, and I said I'd have a play, and then if it ever goes on sale, I would mention it. So here we are. It's currently half price, taking it down to £19.99, which in my opinion is just bang on. Now it's actually quite a difficult racing game from Milestone, but it feels really fair. There's a full livery editor as well, so you can customize your vehicle. You can play online with up to 12 different people, and while it is tough, as I say, it's difficult, it's nice being able to do things like building your own tracks. There is also offline play, so you can do 2 of you on the same Switch, and this is by far the cheapest it's ever been since launch. A real bargain really. It's a very good game, especially after the annoyance of such things as Chocobo Racing with all its blooming free to play nonsense in there. Yeah, good game, well worth it. And about maybe 10 to 25 hours of content. Then we've got Graveyard Keeper, which I love. Imagine if you took Stardew Valley with all its lovely vibrant colours, its cheerful concept, and then flipped it on its head. You'd have Graveyard Keeper, where you are, well, exactly that. You can take organs from bodies and sell them, and then throw the corpses in the river. It's pretty morbid, but it's a surprisingly addictive game. There is a small town here as well. There's a number of DLC contents that are also reduced. So if you've got the base game, at the moment the Stranger Sins, Game of Crone and Breaking Dead DLCs are all half price as well. But the core base game's still going to take you about 45 hours to get through. A very unusual title, one that's probably worth watching the full review. As with all of these types of games, it can get repetitive, it can get a bit grindy, but it's also massively addictive. It's only single player, and this sale goes on until April the 27th. I am a massive strategy fan, and I am also partial to a bit of Jurassic Park. So Jurassic World Evolution, the complete edition, down 65% to 17 quid is, yeah, it's a real steal. There's tons you can do in this game. But firstly, we should probably talk about the performance. Now, the visuals you're seeing are from the launch footage, and it's received loads of patches since this came out. I think it actually was quite a success for them, and they've worked on the visual. It's still not perfect, and there are still some frame drops. There's some cool stuff you can do here, like you can actually get in the helicopters and go into a first person or third person over the shoulder perspective to shoot down runaway dinosaurs, which is pretty sweet. You can also go into all the vehicles and control them manually. You don't have to, but you can, and it's a very cool addition. If you're into things like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Tropico, those kind of large scale builders, I guess, building sims, you'll enjoy this one. You'll find the dulcet tones of the cast of the film playing some of the roles, and there's potentially hundreds of hours of gameplay. There's a lot of different upgrades and researches, and there's something very satisfying about when you breed a very healthy dinosaur and you see it leave that enclosure. It's nice. It's 5.7 gigabytes to download this one, and that sale goes on until April the 18th. Alright, the last 3 are pretty much, they're not all hidden gems, but I think they're quite hidden games that we haven't spoken about much, particularly the very last one. And this one is Neoverse Trinity Edition, which is at its lowest ever price in the US regions. It's just $6, taking it down by 75%. Now, we did a whole video on this one. We actually worked with the, I believe they were German publishers, or at least maybe the promoter was German, something like that. But they were lovely people, and we did a video for them on this, and I was surprised by how much it reminded me of Slay the Spire. There are 300 different cards here and hundreds of different skills, but they've got the balancing just right with the mechanics. There are 70 different types of monsters. I think the real issue for me was the visual style of some of the menus and the UIs. It just, I mean, see what you think for yourself, but they just don't look, how do I say this nicely, very good. It looks a bit cheap. But that aside, the actual core gameplay is really very fun. There's a real knack to trying to find the right skills to use to overcome your enemies. It's not all just about RNG. It's not about that random number generator in the background deciding what cards you get. It really is about what you choose, what you equip, and then how you use them. Everything has a positive and a negative, and yeah, this one can really get its hooks in. It isn't as good as Slay the Spire, and if you were, choosing between the two, you'd get that game every day of the week. But if you already own that, or you've already played it, then consider this one. It's a 4GB download, and that sale goes on until April the 28th. Okay, so here in the UK and the EU regions, we actually claw back one that's only available for us, and it's Unbound Worlds Apart. This one's 40% off its base price, and it is one where, again, they approached us and were like, do you want to do a review? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to, and we just didn't get the time to. But as always, we go and play these games, and if we enjoy them, we'll mention them when they come up on sale. So here we are again. This one's really actually quite a nice one. It's much more of a platformer, or much more platform based than I thought it would be. There's still your monsters and your bosses and some of those more Metroidvania aspects here, but it does require some serious skill in those platforming traversal sections. It uses a beautiful hand-drawn style, which is more successful in some areas than others, but when it's on its, when it's at its best, it looks great. If you're a fan of games like Super Meat Boy or even Celeste, this has a similar level of difficulty in some of those platform areas. It's perhaps a little more forgiving than those, but if you're someone that enjoys challenging yourself, those skill-based games, I think you'll enjoy this a lot. It's 5.6 gigs to download and around about 6 to 10 hours, so not massive. And yeah, that sale goes on until April the 21st. Alright, this takes us on to a hidden gem that's one I've said to Glen that I've wanted to revisit for the longest of times. It's Rain World, and half of you will hate this game. As I did, as Glen did, and half of you are the type of players who see something in a game and there's good there, but perhaps you don't get to fully, give it the time to find that, and that happens to all of us, right? And I knew that was the case with Rain World. You can just sense it. It's such an experience, but it's still frustrating. It's brutally difficult at times, and frankly, it's just annoying. But when you can push past, and when you start to learn your own skills, when you start to learn what you can actually do, where you can reach in this world, something changes about your experience. Now, I haven't completed this one. I've probably got it's difficult to even assess where I'm at, honestly. You so often get sent back to the start and have to try again, and there's some brutal bits of platforming in here, and I couldn't even really tell you what this game is, like what type of game this is. It's like a survival platform game, but as with many others, I think we've known there's something good here, and we've gone back to it, and I have been looking every week to see when this goes on sale. Now, it's on sale at the moment in the US regions. You've got it at its cheapest ever price. It's 50% off, and that's only until April the 18th. Well, I say only. You've got a little bit of time there. But the actual world here is massive. It's absolutely huge. You're looking at over 1,600 different spaces, or rooms as they're called. And that's over 12 different areas. Now, I don't know if this was here originally, but there's 2 different game modes. So you can actually play as the monks, which is a lot easier. Or there's the hunter. And the hunter, I think, was the original difficulty, essentially. And really, that is how you should play the game. But, if you want to just play the more experiential monk, then go for it. But I think part of the experience, a bit like a Souls game, is in that brutal learning curve and overcoming the adversity that it provides. So yeah, sorry I've gone on quite a while with this one, but I think it's something that you'll know, right? If you've heard me speaking, you'll know if this appeals to you. But if you're someone that's easily frustrated, then just avoid it outright, honestly.
Endless beauty, endless danger, endless death.
Last but not least, and by way of a bonus extra game, we've got World War Z. This is another one that's had real success on the Switch. I was surprised by how well it ran at the start, but it has had patch after patch after patch. It has gyro controls, it has online multiplayer, developer Saber Interactive. I only need to say the name and you kind of know it's in good hands. But at the moment it's 38% off. You can also buy a physical of this one for much cheaper, and it's obviously its lowest ever price. Now this one carries a 9.7 gigabyte download. It's essentially a team-based shooter. Think along the lines of Left 4 Dead, or that weird one I can't remember the name of about aliens, which was basically Left 4 Dead. And it was inspired by that So-So film with Brad Pitt. There are quite a few DLCs for this as well. One of them's on sale, the deluxe pack, and in my opinion, if you like these styles of games, and there aren't a great deal of them on Switch, then this is a good pickup. Alright, with that bonus out the way, that only leaves me with room for one Avoid game this week. So let us stand shoulder to shoulder against the oppressive waves of Eshop crap. And this week's winner is Race with Ryan. I think Ryan is now about, probably about 25 years old, but he shall never age. He shall be used by his parents for these things for the rest of his life. And I think we've got to get used to that. But what we don't have to do is pick up his game that's currently half price, Race with Ryan, because it's about as bad as a kart racer can get. I was delighted, honestly. I was glad it was made because I got to see Glen review it. And it was just it was just a perfect experience. Sat with a nice cup of tea, listening to the pain in his voice as he raced with Ryan. Why is it so bad? Well, I suggest you watch his review. I'll pop a link to that so you can have a nice cup of cha and experience that for yourself. But needless to say, it's clunky and it's a bit of a mess, and it's a complete cash grab on this poor little kid. But fair play, you know, he's living the life of luxury. He's probably got golden teddy bears and stuff. So with that out of the way, that's this week's sales gone. Thanks again to Raid Shadow Legends. I enjoyed doing that advert. Hopefully some of you will support the channel and download the game using the link in the top pinned comment, and the others of you will probably leave a comment saying, I can't believe you did a Raid Shadow Legends advert. I'm so angry. And well, that's I'm sorry. But I'm not. Thanks so much to all of you that watch the channel, to our patrons who support us each and every month. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys. See ya!